Another question, I'm going to ask Rob first. How do you assess the ability of fund managers and companies to invest responsibly?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's just to remind everyone, SJP doesn't invest in companies directly. We select fund managers like Magellan, like Hamish. So what we're trying to do is use our kind of size and scale, which is 118 billion pounds, and we work with about 39 different fund managers. So we're assessing those fund managers. So we will ask, we want to know how Hamish is thinking. We want to know what resources he's putting towards this. There's an entire area what's called alternative data. That's just a different way of describing ESG. We want to know culturally, the reality, the big thing is greenwashing at companies, greenwashing at fund managers. There was Natixis did a survey which showed that 70% of fund managers have signed up to UNPRI just purely for reputational issues, which is a bit worrying because basically they're saying they're doing it because they just kind of want to look good for clients, not because they really believe in it. We're constantly upgrading and assessing our process. We work very closely with the United Nations Principles for Responsible Investing, which are also ratcheting up their process. And since I joined, we spent the last 18 months building an integrated sort of data lake, and we're using some of the AI and machine learning technology that Michelle talked about to try and surface our own ESG data so that we can then counter respond to an analyst in let's say Hamish's team and say, well, hang on a minute, this is what we're seeing. And we're not trying to say we're right. What we want to see is their thought process that they've thought about it. There's no right or wrong here, but it is a thought process. And what is really clear, it's a bit like when you're interviewing a candidate, those who get it and those who do it, and those that don't. And here's a brilliant thing. So when we talked about 100% of our fund managers being signed up to the UNPRI, A+ is the highest rating that you can get. And over 60% of our fund managers are A+, and that's double the industry. That's double the industry average. So our job is to make sure that we keep raising the bar on responsible investing.
Understood. And Hamish, can I just bring you in, just if you have a comment that maybe you would like to add something here?
Yeah. One thing I would say, look, we've been on the sustainability side for some time, and we've actually launched a series of sustainability funds 3 or 4 years ago. We've got a head of sustainability. Carbon's been a very large focus of ours. But then you have to think is sometimes you have to invest in areas where change is actually needed. We've put about, I'm trying to work it out, it would be $5 billion US, more than $5 billion US to work in the US utility industry. And at the moment they rate quite high in carbon because they get that. But if you have a look at the utilities we're investing in, they're in a massive program replacing all of their coal-fired generation with renewable sources and have made incredible progress over the last 10 years in replacing that. But still, if you just looked at a screen, you would say these companies are high carbon. But they've taken 40 to 60% of their coal-fired generation out of their electricity generation in the last 15 years. And by 2030, they would have removed all their coal-fired generation out of that. And there's massive capital going into these utilities. And we have actually underwritten the capital raisings entirely for 3 utilities in the United States, where Magellan provided all of the capital for these 3 utilities in part of their investment programs. But if you looked very, very cursorily over, you go, oh, well, Magellan's now invested in something that shows like it's quite high carbon. But unless you actually provide capital in the areas that need to change, some people just say, well, let's just avoid it. It's easy just to avoid it and look like you've got really good statistics. But are you actually making a difference? And I think you have to be prepared to make a difference and back it up with capital as well.